Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. What were we going to get at?
I was just gonna kind of I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about
Hmm.
um how you got to this point, um because you've had a lot of struggles yourself and fought some addictions and overcame that and started this whole health journey. And you mentioned that you couldn't have done any of that without God. And so that's a pretty strong statement for somebody that's your age. And so I wanted to learn a little bit more about that. But as I look at the time, it's already close to 6 o'clock, and I've got a meeting at 6 that I got to jump to. So I wanted to ask you, just tell me your story about what that means to you, if you can, in less than 5 minutes.
Okay. So yeah, I originally grew up in Estes Park, Colorado, and yeah, it was quite a journey up and down. Brought me here to Arizona. I'm on the
Okay.
autism spectrum, and ever since the RNU platform began, I got diagnosed with bipolar type 2 and ADHD. So
Okay. Okay.
I have a very unique mind, but because some of that wasn't diagnosed until years later, you can
Hmm.
imagine that in a lot of ways I was my own worst enemy, especially being around schoolmates and, being around people in general. Very introverted. And when it came to school, I went there for the same reason you mentioned with the film, which is sort of to just do a job that was basically given to me,
Mm.
although I mostly did it though with the attitude of I'm only here so I don't get in trouble. I didn't really
Yeah.
like being
Yeah.
around people and got physically bullied at a young age. And then I got bullied by a relative and then for a number of years. And then I became a bully on social media after
Mm.
developing hatred towards someone and taking it to an unhealthy approach. And it took a
Mm.
long time for me to snap out of that mindset, and to, repair the damage I did, you know. And then the thing is, I wanted to find happiness for myself when I didn't, for the most part, at a young age. So I turned to soda, and that just blossomed into heavy addiction up until I
Mm.
gained to that 320 plus pounds mark. And, what snapped me out of that, though, was one night where I was drinking 2 liters of soda per day. And, I just decided I didn't want to do it anymore. It just wasn't worth it. It was taking all
Mm.
my resources. And, then afterwards, and before I was doing mentorship with Andy McPhee before that day on March 6th of 2020. And when I informed Andy that I quit the addiction, he supported me heavily, guiding me through all the stages of the weight loss and staying away from the sweets and throwing the junk food away and, changing up my diet. Within a year, I lost 110 pounds and then went on from there. Everything transformed and had a big weekend in Nashville for the Indy car race and the Grand Prix and had a by chance collision with Roger Penske's golf cart when he accidentally ran into me by mistake. You know Roger Penske?
No, I do not.
Oh, he's the man behind the Penske Trucking Company, those yellow
Okay.
trucks with Penske written on them. So there
Yeah, yeah,
was
I know,
that,
I know the company. Okay, so he's the owner of
the
Penske,
owner.
and
Yep.
you smashed into his golf cart.
Well, he smashed into me by
Oh,
mistake,
he
and I,
smashed into you. That's funny.
yeah, and then I got a picture with him as sort of
Oh,
a
that's amazing.
fan base thing because I looked up to him, And aside from that, though, it's been a journey of healing, exercise and
Mm.
biking, and the most I've ever biked in a single day is 68 miles
Wow. Wow.
nonstop. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where does God fit on this for you?
Where God fits in this is, I got baptized at a young age, probably way too young, not knowing what I was doing or what I was
Hmm.
subscribing myself to.
Hmm.
And all the anger, the pain, and the addiction strayed me away from the path that a Christian is supposed to be.
Hmm.
And it took years before I finally realized I could not get out of this without God. So
Hmm.
on the night before March 6th of 2020, I said a prayer to God that I was going to trust in him because he knew better. I was going to quit all that soda and all the hatred. I was going to throw everything out that was unclean and not pure in my heart. And asked God, please guide me through this as I make these changes because I know you will not let me down. I believe in that. And surely enough, within 3 weeks, the soda cravings went away. And 6 months later, I felt like myself again and then got the bipolar and ADHD diagnosis. And that, along with the autism diagnosis, is what sort of caused me to realize why I was suffering for many years. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's hard without medications, but again, you cannot depend on just medications. You have to also depend on your well-being. And without God in the end, to fill your heart with the Holy Spirit, you can't do it by yourself.
Doug, that is one of the most powerful things that I think I've ever heard come from a 27-year-old who has gone through um, a lot of darkness in their life and a lot of challenges in their life. And without a lot of external influence or help until the time was right, you made those decisions on your own. And that is very, very, very honorable. That is very big of who you are, to recognize the challenges that you face and actually did something about it on your own. Of course, you've had some support, and I think Andy's been a huge support system to you. Even though I don't know your guys' personal relationship, it seems like it's deep. It seems like it's been long. It seems like it's been a very inspirational part of your life. And so, because of your story, you do understand that now God has put you in a position where you may have a bigger responsibility. And that responsibility is to be there for those who experience the same things that you do, that don't have help or cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so you have a really powerful story, man, to tell. And in the future, because I don't know like what platforms you guys, work from, podcasts, who, all the people that you have had the pleasure to have exposure to, or what you are planning on doing with your life. But if there's, and I'm sure you've probably heard this before, but if there's anything that I can do to help you get your message out there, I will do everything in my power to do that, because it's needed. It's needed for the bullying, or anti-bullying. It's needed for autism. It's needed for ADHD. It's needed for the bipolar community. There's so much positive impact that you can make in other people's lives, that I think that because of your challenges and what you've overcome and where you have come with the support that you have a very big opportunity to help others in a very big way. And that's not from you. That's from God. Oh, there you go. I found you again. I got you. You're
Yeah,
welcome. You're
thank you
welcome.
very much. And I really appreciate you making the time to appear on RNU. And yeah, let's chat again real soon if you ever want to be a guest
For
again.
sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll keep you in mind too for future podcasts that I may be involved in, that we can get your word out even further too. So I'll keep you in mind for that, man. I'd love to invite you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm.
That's all I have for now, but I thank you for coming on to RNU.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. Everybody, please remember the message of the holiday spirit, which is for God loved the world so much that he gave his only son so that we will not perish but have everlasting life. Remember to celebrate Christmas in a way that's healthy for everybody, and remember to also give to those who are needy, and remember that some people or have different journeys, bad and good. So don't take life for granted. And yeah, thanks to God, thanks to Andy McPhee for the great mentorship, and thanks to Yano for, being a really good person. and the complete opposite of a bully. And everyone, we'll see you next time on R&U. Merry Christmas.